Hello, Quesnel, and welcome to Q Today. I'm Allison Duddy.
And I'm Nate Bello, and this is our show for February the 5th.
First, we'd like to thank Friesen Mediation Services for their sponsorship over the next 2 weeks. And later in the show, we're going to have Bert interviewing Ron Friesen about the role of mediation, especially in light of upcoming changes in federal law.
And our top stories today from The Observer: Chamber of Commerce honors business excellence at their annual Business Excellence Awards, and a new book by local resident Gordon Perry.
Okay, so here at Q Today, we bring you the recent news provided by our partnership with the Quesnel Caribou Observer, combined with a little bit of our own commentary. And we also bring you our own stories from the community. Remember, we do just give the highlights. If you want to get all the details, pick up your copy of the Quesnel Caribou Observer. Now over to Nate here for some news.
Okay, thank you very much, Allison.
You bet.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards took place recently, and Friday's Observer had dedicated an entire page to the winners in several categories. To mention a few, Quesnel Bakeries' Gerd Tietzen and his wife Wanda accepted the Business of the Year Award, and Amy Quarry of Ad Boom Studio received the Business Person of the Year Award, and David Craigmile of Rough Times was awarded the Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And to see all the winners in every category, as you said, pick up your copy of the Quesnel Caribou Observer.
Great, thanks, Nate. So, Observer reporter Jonas Gagnon recently spoke with Quesnel resident Gordon Perry about his new book titled Quesnel the Beautiful. This is Perry's 5th book, and it's an array of images and stories that he's captured in an effort to sum up Quesnel in photographs. Perry said there's a fair bit about photography in there, plus what the pictures are about, and a little bit of history. He had printed out some copies to show people so he could take orders for when the real book actually came out, but it proved so popular that people wanted to buy the book and send it to loved ones for Christmas. Now, currently he's only selling the book directly, though he does have ideas for marketing, like a book signing that he's trying to arrange to help spread the word about the book. Now, when it comes out within the next few weeks, Quesnel the Beautiful will retail for $24.95, including taxes.
You know, it's just amazing the amount of beauty he has brought to Quesnel over the many years when he and his wife ran their studio. Now, even in retired, he's still putting out a lot of beautiful photography.
So true.
Okay, Cynthia Bernier of the Quesnel School District wrote a great article on the breakfast program that the school district operates. Most of us have heard about that, you know, as the breakfast is the most nutritious meal of the day. It keeps the body strong, energetic, and you can concentrate and have better problem-solving ability. But it's especially critical for students attending their school in order to stay focused and attentive to their learning. And unfortunately, many of the students that skip breakfast before going to school, some don't feel hungry until they get there, and others, sadly, others just don't have food at home. It happens in our society. We're fortunate that for many who need it, the breakfast is available right there at the school. And listen to these statistics, Allison. During the year 2011-2012 school year, approximately 75,000 breakfasts were served to Quesnel students. And this year, by the end of December, they already had reached the number of 22,000. According to Bernier, the school breakfast programs provide much more than a nutritious breakfast. They also provide a sense of connectedness between the student and the school through the kids' interactions with school staff.
So are you a breakfast eater, Nate?
I am a breakfast eater. As of about 6 or 7 years ago, I said I have to eat breakfast, because what would happen is I wouldn't eat breakfast. Then by the time I'd get so hungry and then start snacking, and I actually gained weight by not eating breakfast. And of course, you eat breakfast.
I am not a big breakfast eater. You know, I never have been. I try, you know, to have a yogurt or just something light to because I do find by, you know, afternoon I do start to wear down a little bit. I lose my energy, so I'm sure that it would help, but I can't say.
I know, because a lot of people's stomachs, you know, they just don't feel like it right away.
Yeah, so true, so true. Okay, moving along. Recently we saluted Big Brother, Big Sisters of Canada for their 100th anniversary, and this week, congratulations to the Freemasons as they celebrate 100 years in Quesnel. Now, it all started on a Sunday afternoon in the fall of 1911 when Mr. Edward Kepner invited a group of fellow Masons to a get-together at his home on Front Street. This was the first concerted step toward the formation of a Masonic Lodge in Quesnel. They became formally constituted by the Grand Lodge of BC on September 22nd, 1913. And this year, to celebrate, there will be a series of articles in the paper recounting the history of the Lodge as it paralleled the growth of our community. Now, besides the history, the Masons will provide some insight into what actually goes on within the walls of the Masonic Lodge. The celebrations will culminate in September with a visit from their Grand Master.
All right.
Sounds interesting.
Congratulations. Bill Cave's very involved in that, and they're going to have a good year.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And now on to sports. The Quesnel Ladies Curling Club held their annual Wheel and Spiel Bonspiel from January 25th to the 27th. There were 29 teams involved. They all entered the event, and for the A event, we saw the team of Crystal Holler beat out the Lori Warwick team 7-4. The B event was won by the Lori Freeman rink, who won the event over the Brenda Ernst rink 7-4. And the C event went to Trudy Bentley. Congratulations, Trudy Bentley. And you guys beat the Doris Williamson rink 7-6. And they gave out quite a bit of money, eh?
They did.
$3,000 went to the winners after the final game, and so I guess, Allison, you must come back from all your good curling bonspiels with lots of money in your back pocket.
I wish. I wish it was that. No, I do it for fun.
You do it for fun, and they do it for fun too. But it's nice to get a little prize money.
It doesn't hurt, that's for sure. All right, thanks, Nate. So in a story from Friday's Observer titled A Run Through the Whispering Pines, Jonas Gagnon wrote about his recent experience taking a sled dog tour. Sandy Burke, who took Gagnon for a ride, had a busy year and he hasn't had the time to train his dogs or race them. So seeing his dogs out running circular troughs in the snow, Burke had decided that if he wasn't going to race the dogs, he should find some way for the dogs to pay their way, so he decided to give tours. Now, in the article, Gagnon goes into detail about his ride experience, a bit of Burke's history and experiences as a musher, and of course, the dogs. It's a great read. If you haven't checked it out already, I really encourage you to pick up Friday's copy of the Quesnel Kangeroos Observer. I found it just fascinating. If you're interested in taking a ride, you can contact Burke at racepace888@hotmail.com or call 250-316-5011 2 days before you want to go for a ride. Now, rides run from Friday to Sunday, $30 for kids, $50 for adults, and that is a 10K ride that you get for your money there. I think it sounded just awesome.
Well, I really like dog sleds, and I had the opportunity to mush a couple times, and when I was mayor, and it was a lot of fun. They actually let you do it all by yourself. You could stand by there. I did it down in 100 Mile House, and also with Jeff Dinsdale another time. It was fun.
Well, the article that Jonas wrote was it was well written. You know, it had a lot about the commands that he gives the dogs and how the dogs react to him, and it was a great article. So, like I say, recommend it. Check it out. Go for a ride.
Well, it's playoff time for the Roos, and this past weekend bode pretty well if they want to go on and capture the Koi Cup. On Saturday night, it seemed like the Omanika Ice were there just to have a little bit of a brawl. But despite a few pugilistic episodes, Allison, the Roos took charge, and they scored 3 times in 3 minutes, en route to a 10-5 final victory.
Great.
Then the next game was just about the same, 7-2. They won 7-2 to the delight of about 800 cheering fans. They get a big crowd. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, 800 is a great turnout.
And the result is that the Roos now are going to go to Williams Lake. Well, but and the winner of that will go on to Kitimat. But this coming weekend, the first game will be this Friday. Will be in at the Twin Ice Arena, and then on Saturday it will be in Williams Lake. And then, if need be, a third game will be also in Williams Lake. And as I said, the winner goes to Kitimat to compete in the Koi Cup. And let's go Roos.
You bet. Go Roos. Good luck.
And thanks to Scott Elliott for taking that footage. It was really nice. Yeah.
All right. Well, Saturday was a big day at the West Fraser Timber Park with the annual Winter Carnival being held there. The fun-filled day featured skating on the pond, arts and crafts, lots of winter activities and refreshments. John here was there and got some great footage.
John here was there.
Yeah. And he got some great footage. And also our new colleague, Nate, Mikey McDonald, got some terrific still pictures. So let's have a look at those.
Okay, as mentioned at the top of the show, we have Bert interviewing Ron Friesen of Friesen Mediation Services. Let's check it out.
Hello everybody, my name is Bert and with me is Ron Friesen from Friesen Mediation Services, and we'll be talking about, guess what, mediation. Well Ron, to start off with, what would you like to say to start out?
Well, I'd like to say thank you, Bert, for the opportunity to bring forth some information and the benefits of mediation. I'd also like to say that comments I make are without prejudice, and I will be quoting some legal issues, but they are legal information only. Mediators are not lawyers, we're mediators.
Okay. So, in view of that, what would you say is the definition of mediation?
Well, mediation is a form of alternate dispute resolution, in its voluntary and confidential way to resolve disputes without giving the decision-making power to someone else, like a judge. It involves sitting down with the other side in a dispute and a third party who is neutral and impartial, namely the mediator.
Okay.
And a mediator helps the parties identify the issues and provides a framework so that the parties themselves can craft a resolution to whatever their issues are. A mediator doesn't tell them what to do. He doesn't take a side. He doesn't tell them they're right or wrong. The outcome of the issue stays with the parties, which is something that can't happen in a court system.
Okay, so what would you say is the advantage of mediation compared to going, let's say, to court?
Well, the primary advantage is that the resolution comes from the parties themselves with the assistance of the mediator. The mediator helps the parties to craft a resolution to the dispute, whatever it is, that they can live with. In contrast, court action comes with a form of someone has to win, someone has to lose, and accumulating billable hours isn't really the object of mediation. The object of mediation is to reach agreement in the dispute.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So, who would you say are the most common people who go to mediation, and what are the main reasons they do?
Well, mediation works for people that are separating or divorcing couples. It works for parenting conflict, step-family issues like blended families, workplace conflict, contractual issues. It works where there's an impasse in negotiations, and it's actually, mediation offers an outside-the-box approach to possible resolutions, because a lot of parties don't necessarily want to fight. They want to just resolve the issues and move on. And statistics tell us that 85% of mediated agreements are successful.
Okay.
And so another advantage is you're spending less time, less money, and the new Family Law Act, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that comes into force on March 18th of this year.
Oh, that's pretty soon then, this next month?
It is, yeah.
Holy, okay. So, what are the most relevant points that are raised in the family? Law Act?
Well, the main thing is, and I'll just refer to my notes here a bit, the main thing of the new Family Law Act is it is to ensure the parties in a family law dispute are informed of the various methods available to resolve the dispute, and to encourage the parties to a family law dispute to resolve the dispute with agreements and appropriate family resolution, and to encourage parents and guardians to resolve the conflict, trying to resolve the conflict before court action or court intervention, and to create parenting arrangements respecting children, which is in the best interest of the children only.
That's important.
It is. All other factors are secondary. The interest of the children is the primary purpose of the new law. And it also has eliminated some adversive terms like access and custody. They've been changed to parenting and time and guardianship. And another point is that an agreement under mediation, done with mediation or not with mediation, is binding on the parties. It can be binding on the parties, and that is binding whether or not there is consideration, like whether there's money involved. It'll be binding whether the agreement has been made with the involvement of a family dispute professional, or whether or not the agreement was filed in court. So the upshot of this is an agreement that two people make.
Yeah.
They make the agreement, a mediator helps them, provides a framework, but that agreement is valid in a court of law. So.
Okay.
And already we're seeing judges that are leaning towards or actually ordering mediation to parties before it goes to court, before any matter goes to court. So the judges are trying to unclog the family law system. The court law, the courts are very plugged.
Okay.
And family, resolutions can be reached through mediation in a lot quicker time than.
Okay, so not only does it unclog the courts, but is there a difference in what you pay, let's say, to go through the court system and when you go to see a mediator? Is there what is
yes,
the cost factor there?
There is quite a difference. Like let's just say a mediated divorce would cost about 50% of what it costs to go through a lawyer and go through the court system. So let's say you had a divorce situation where people wanted to divorce. There was not much dispute. That would cost around $3,000 versus $10,000.
Oh, that's a big difference.
So it's quite a savings, and the impact on the children we feel is priceless.
Yeah.
The impact on children, on a conflicted court sessions and everything it's not a good thing.
And that's a very important part, because that's the one thing that's quite often forgotten in the courts is the children, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah, and we actually feel that lawyers. I'm not saying anything bad about lawyers. It's just that their training.
Yeah.
For 7 years, somebody has 7 years they go to school or have training, and somebody has to win and somebody has to lose, and we find that we don't think that they can change that hat that fast and work for both parties. Whereas that's all we do is work for both parties.
Yeah.
And
so, in the closing, what do you think is the is mediation? How does it work in today's age?
Well, it works very well, Bert. Mediation's big in the States. You can't really go into any court action without having mediation, give mediation a shot first. And it's big down east too. It's coming this way. And the federal government has finally realized that the way to unclog the court system and to have less stress is to try and reach agreement, have the parties reach agreement without the court system and the adversive attack and defense of a court case.
That's a very important thing, isn't it? Because that would upset a lot of people to have that in public and then have to be fighting about it.
That's right. And mediation is confidential. It's private, and people craft their own agreement. The outcome lies with the people. It doesn't lie with a judge or lawyers or anybody. It lies with the people.
So the people themselves
craft the agreement.
Craft the agreement, and that way
we just provide the framework to do that.
Adversity is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Well, there will be, you know, different.
Well, they agree to be forthright and honest and respectful before they go into mediation, and they have to be voluntary. You can't drag someone into mediation. They have to volunteer to do that.
Of course. Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But once they do, a lot of people don't necessarily want to fight. They just want to resolve the issues and go their own way, you know, and get on with their life. So,
okay,
that's about it. You can contact us at email is mediationservices@shaw.ca. We're here in Quesnel in Dragon Lake.
Okay.
Or people can call us at 747-3315. So if you're in a conflicted situation and you want to settle it, maybe we can help you.
Thanks a lot, Ron.
You're quite welcome, Bert. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, go.
All right, and now it's time for Susan MacNeill's home-based business segment. This week, she spoke with Eddie deSouza, who operates a popular recording studio in town. So let's have a look at that.
Welcome, Quesnel. I'm Susan MacNeill with the home-based business segment for our QToday show. Today I have Eddie deSouza here from the Cool Cat Recording Studio. So welcome, Eddie.
Welcome. Thank you, Susan, for having me here.
Well, we're all excited here. We're doing the new home-based business segment as on our show and profiling people that are great contributors to our community. So can you tell me a little bit about what the Cool Cat Recording Studio does here in Quesnel?
Okay, yeah. Well, like, I've been here for 20 some odd years, and right now I'm focusing on artist development, and I also teach music as well, like drums and guitar, bass and keyboards.
Yes.
And artist development, people are coming to me with songs, and what I do is I fill in the blanks because I play quite a few different instruments. So like to make demos or jingles for different businesses around town.
Right, and you did create a song, if I'm not mistaken, for the Billy Barker Days Society, is that right?
That's right, yeah, that was in '96. And
okay.
Then in 2001, they actually adopted it as a theme song.
Okay.
And like I got half of the town, like all the really great musicians in Quesnel, like including Maury Bowl and Trudy Monk, Donna Christensen, to name a few. There's like just
So where could we hear
everybody.
this song? Where could we hear the song?
Good question.
Could we go to the Billy Barker Days Society website and hear it?
Well, that's a really good thought. I should let them.
We should.
Well,
you know what? Maybe once this airs, they'll put it on their website, and it'll be a link to the to the song. That would be awesome. So Ed, I just noticed that you have brought with you your CD called "You're the Star."
It's actually a DVD.
Oh, it's a DVD. My mistake. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and how that came to.
Okay, well basically I came into Shaw Cable, thank you very much Shaw Cable, a few years ago, and I asked them about advertising. And what happened is they said, well, why don't you put a show together? And I said, a show, okay, well, like I wanted to promote the fact that I taught music in Quesnel. And so I put a show together called Be a Cool Cat. And I did 16 episodes of that teaching music.
Yes, okay.
And that's all on qcatv.ca now, right? So you can watch all those episodes. But then, like, the show was, like, it had quite a bit of good response from the community. So, like, they asked me to do another one. So I came up with the idea for You're the Star. And to date, we've done 49 episodes.
Oh my goodness, you're just born to do this.
Yeah, well, it was like, it's my passion. It's like to work with artists. I've like interviewed, like kind of like what you're doing. I've interviewed like countless like different entertainers, like all the way from Gary Felgard, who's like a Juno Award winner.
Yes.
And he's not on this DVD, but possibly on the next one coming up, eh?
So could you show the DVD to our audience, and could you tell us where we might be able to purchase one?
Well, this you can definitely purchase at the Child Development Center.
Okay.
And also, if you see me walking around town, I've usually got a few in the van. But like some of the proceeds from every CD sold at retail, like ends up with the Child Development Center.
Oh, isn't that nice? So you're a community member giving back to community in more than one way.
Well, yeah, there's about 20 different musicians on here, including some of my students and my dog. And
okay, now you said your dog. What does your dog play?
My dog sings.
Your dog sings.
And he's also like, it's actually a few years apart. Like he's
Okay.
on twice. Eh?
Okay.
One, he's actually doing really silly stunts, like playing bongos
Okay.
in midair, and the other song he's actually howling.
Okay.
That's a song called "Pining Over You."
Is it?
Right.
Well, thank you for that. And I noticed you brought your album here that features some of your artists. And this was perhaps looks like this was the Gold Pan City announcement of your new DVD, and that's
right,
the DVD.
This is the DVD, and we actually hit the front page of the newspaper, which is
Very cool. Yes. So if we need to get in touch with you, could you please give us that information as to how we would do that?
Sure, you can actually get a hold of me like at QCATV.ca. And
that's on the website. That's on the internet for those that
that's right, yeah.
don't know that. Yes.
Yeah. And
your
actually,
phone number would be
250-991-0070.
Okay.
If I could just talk briefly about Quesnel Community Access TV, that was another
Yes,
idea
and that's another project that you
another
developed.
project that I've created, and what it is a vehicle for people like yourselves and QToday.
Yes.
Like it's a vehicle so that you can see the world. Eh?
So it's like people could come to you if they wanted to showcase something in the form of a show or a clip.
That's right. If someone
sort of
has an
thing. Okay.
idea for a show, or if they even produce something themselves, as long as it's family oriented, we can probably get it on the air.
Right. So it's community programming for our Quesnel community, and I do believe that that's a free offer.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like if they supply the footage.
The content.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
Okay. Well, Eddie, thank you for coming today. It's been a real pleasure to learn a little bit more about you and your programming and what you've brought to the community. So we thank you for coming. And for those folks wishing to purchase the DVD, don't forget to give Ed a call. And please view our show on www.qcatv.ca. Thanks, Quesnel, and thank you, Ed.
Okay.
Bye for now.
All right, Nate. Saturday was Groundhog Day. I understand that you have some pretty strong opinions on that, so
Yes, I do,
enlighten
Allison.
us.
Thank you. Now pay attention, okay?
I'm with you.
I think that Groundhog Day should be stricken off the days of holidays. It's a sham. And we shouldn't be paying any attention to Groundhog Day.
It's not a holiday.
It's a holiday, and no more statutory free rides. No more paid days off for Groundhog Day from now on, okay? And here's why. It doesn't work in Canada.
Now, why do you say
It
that?
doesn't work in Canada. Now, on the surface, here's what they had, who is a Punchakazi Phil.
Yep.
He's a
Punxsutawney.
Oh, Punxsutawney Phil. Okay.
Close
And
enough.
there's Wyerton Willie or Walkerton Willie, drank too much water or something like that. Now, they were divided anyway. One saw the shadow, one didn't see the shadow. So first of all, the whole idea, it's totally, who are you going to believe? Where's the empirical evidence?
Look at that,
Down
it's
with
haggis.
Groundhog Day, Ellison. That's all there is to it.
Okay. All right. Let's have a look at the community calendar. We'll be right back.
Well, that's it for our show, and we want to hear from you with your stories. How do you think we're doing? Give us an email at qtoday@qcatv.ca. And remember, everything that you think is important, we think is important.
You bet.
Okay.
And thanks again to Friesen Mediation Services for their sponsorship over the next couple of weeks.
Maybe we should get them to mediate between the groundhogs.
Good idea. I like that.
All right. QToday is about
We're now talking to Quesnel.
Bye.
Bye for now.